All right, let's dive right in. Today we're journeying into one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, mysterious books ever written, the Book of Revelation. We're going to unpack the seven seals, this incredible vision of conquest, war, famine, and cosmic chaos. So let's get right to it.
So this is the big question, isn't it? What are these seven seals, really? And what in the world do they unleash? We're about to explore a path of prophecy, of judgment, and what's described as a divine plan unfolding step by step.
Okay, think of it like this. The seven seals are the opening act in a huge, three-part cosmic drama. They're followed by the seven trumpets and then the seven bowls of judgment. And it's all locked up inside this sacred scroll, a scroll so important that no one in heaven or on earth is found worthy to open it, except for one person, Jesus Christ. He's the one who breaks the seals and sets everything in motion.
And how does this all kick off? Well, it starts with some of the most famous and frankly terrifying figures in the entire Bible, the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Each time one of the first four seals is broken, a new rider is unleashed on the world.
So, the first seal is broken, and out comes this figure on a white horse. He's got a crown, a bow, he looks like a conqueror, almost like a hero, right? But here's the thing. Who this rider really is? Well, that's where things get really interesting, and it's not so simple.
So according to the interpretation we're looking at, this rider isn't who he seems to be. This isn't a savior. This is supposed to be a false messiah, the very spirit of the Antichrist. The analysis sees this prophecy playing out twice, once in the past with the expansion of the Roman Empire, and again in the future with the coming global ruler. And get this, the bow has no arrows. The idea is that this is conquest achieved not through open warfare, but through clever deception, through politics and diplomacy.
All right, on to the second seal. And if there was any illusion of peace from that first rider, it is completely shattered now. A fiery red horse bursts onto the scene, and its rider has one single terrible mission: to rip peace right out of the world and cause humanity to turn on itself.
Yeah, the interpretation here is pretty direct. The red horse means war, widespread, bloody conflict. The source we're looking at draws a direct line from this prophecy to the massive, catastrophic wars of the 20th century, viewing the world wars as a kind of partial fulfillment, a terrifying echo of this prophecy.
Now for the third horseman, and this one brings a totally different kind of disaster. He's on a black horse, and he's holding a pair of scales. Then a voice calls out these insane prices for basic food. So you can see we've shifted from open warfare to a full-blown economic crisis.
So what does this mean? Well, the black horse represents famine and economic collapse. Those scales, they're for rationing food. And the prices are just staggering. We're talking a full day's wage for a single meal. But then you get this really telling detail, the command to not harm the oil and the wine. The interpretation is that while the masses are starving, the luxuries of the wealthy remain protected. It's this powerful, stark picture of massive inequality.
Okay, here we are, the fourth and final horseman. And this one doesn't really mess around with symbolism. The rider on this pale horse is literally named Death, and he's not riding alone. Hades, the realm of the dead, is right there with him.
And the scale of this judgment is it's almost impossible to comprehend. This isn't some localized disaster. Death and Hades are given authority over 1/4 of the entire planet, 1/4 of the world's population, to be killed by war, famine, plague, and even wild animals.
And here's the double threat. Death is pretty straightforward. That's physical death, the end of life on Earth. But Hades represents spiritual death, this idea of eternal separation from God. So the analysis is that these huge disasters could cause many to lose their faith, leading not just to a physical end, but a spiritual one too.
Okay, so after all that chaos on Earth with the four horsemen, the fifth seal does something completely different. It's like the camera suddenly pulls way back, up into heaven, to show us a totally different scene that's unfolding.
And what we see are the souls of martyrs, people who were killed because of their faith. And they're crying out to God, asking this one powerful, haunting question: how long? How long until you bring justice for what happened to us?
The answer they get is really profound. They're each given a white robe, which symbolizes their righteousness and their ultimate victory. What their cry for immediate justice is met with a command to wait, to rest just a little while longer. This really serves two purposes. It's a sobering reminder of the real cost of faith, and it's a call to persevere, to trust that God's plan for justice will happen in His own perfect time. So after that quiet, intense moment in heaven, the sixth seal just rips everything apart. And we're not talking about war or famine on Earth anymore. This is the entire cosmos, the entire universe being shaken to its very core.
It all starts with the ground right under our feet, a massive, violent earthquake that rocks every single foundation.
Then you look up, and the chaos has spread to the heavens. The sun goes black, and the moon turns the color of blood. I mean, these are classic, terrifying signs of impending judgment.
And finally, the whole celestial order just collapses. The stars start falling from the sky, and the sky itself is rolled up like an old scroll being put away. Can you even imagine that? It's describing the complete and total unraveling of reality as we know it.
So what in the world is going on here? Well, the interpretation is that this is a divine wake-up call on an absolutely epic scale. It's a violent shaking of both the natural world and the spiritual one. Interestingly, the source even touches on some modern theories about things like technological weather manipulation. But that's kind of beside the main point, which is this. Whatever the cause, these events are meant to be an undeniable demonstration of God's absolute sovereignty over all of creation.
And that brings us to the seventh and final seal. After all that noise, all that cosmic terror of the sixth seal, you'd expect an even bigger bang, right? But what happens next is something else entirely. Something, you could argue, that's far more unsettling. Silence. Just a complete and total hush falls over heaven. After everything we've just seen, it all just stops. This silence, which lasts for about half an hour, is incredibly significant. It's interpreted as this moment of solemn awe, of deep reverence, like the entire universe is holding its breath. Because this isn't the end. It's the calm before an even bigger storm. It's the pause that sets the stage for the seven trumpets, the next devastating series of judgments. It builds this incredible sense of awe for what's about to be unleashed.
Which really brings us back to the ultimate question, doesn't it? What is the purpose of all this terrifying imagery? According to the perspective we've been exploring, these apocalyptic visions aren't just a roadmap for predicting the future. They serve as a profound challenge for us, right here, right now. They're presented as a test of faith, a powerful reminder of divine sovereignty. So the ultimate takeaway isn't about trying to decode a timeline, but about deciding how you're going to live in light of it. Through all the chaos of the seals, the conquest, the war, the famine, and the death, the underlying message is one of ultimate purpose and a call to hold on to hope, no matter how dark the world around us might seem.